Shalom. I want to start by giving all praises to Yahweh, Basham Yahushai, Basham Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching us scriptures, among other things, and salutations to all the Akyam across the world who doing this work in sincerity and in truth, and shalom to the sincere brothers and sisters who are at home watching the videos and do the best to please Yahweh, Basham Yahushai. So yeah, man, this video, it's gonna be like, not really a confession, but what should I call it? Experience, things that I go through, that I went through, things that are happening concerning the camp. What got to do with the brothers, also personal things, and as you can see the title, it's the book of Exodus. I'm gonna read it. It's the book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 12, and it says, "Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahweh thy power give thee." So this scripture already shows you that it's very important. The Most High find it very important to have respect for your parents, and of course, you also have to deal with them according to knowledge. You got to, the same way that you deal with your wife, you understanding that she's the weaker vessel, so she will make decisions out of emotions and all that, and she, a lot of times she might give you advice or something. There might some things that she see that you don't see, but in general, as men, you can look at something, look at the situation, and without being all emotional, without it, and making a good decision based on facts. While you have a woman, she might make a decision based on her emotions. But yeah, I'm not wanna jump into that. But basically, like with your parents, like for example, the scripture that said, I can't really remember where it was, where it is at this point, but you have a scripture that talk about, if you got an old wine bottle, you can't put that new wine in there because it's gonna burst, and that's talking about this truth, this knowledge, if these old people, if you look at our parents, if I look at my parents, me myself, I'm 45 years old. My parents, they are like, around my parents, my mother, she's about, I think 79, or she's about to turn 80. My father, he passed away recently with the age of 81. Like a week ago, he would have been 82, you know. But yeah, he passed away. He went, kind of cruel. He went out, he came to his end. But it's all, I see it, the most I judge him. Because, I went through some things with him basically to all my whole life. We had some like, in Dutch they say like a hate-love relationship with him. But yeah, we had ups and downs. I had some good moments with him also, there were some good times also, but the majority of the time, and my mother told me like I looked like his father, and he had a hard time with his father. But yeah, just because you had a hard time with your father, it doesn't mean that you have to be like that with your son. The scriptures talk about don't beat your son till the point that he's gonna hate you. Matter of fact, let me jump to that real quick, because it's in the book of Ephesians. Uh, This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse 4. "And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of Yahweh." You see that? So you ain't supposed to beat your child to a point that he starts to hate you, that he don't want to do anything for you. They be like, whatever, motherfucker. And another thing, when I was growing up, I always told myself that I would never treat my children like the way that things that he did to me. That was the way that I was growing up. And Yahweh, until this day, I'm not doing that shit what he used to do with me to my children. So yeah, and like I said, old bottle, you can, when you put that new wine in, it's gonna burst. He's not gonna get it. Because the last time, last time that I went to Curacao, I went to bury him. But before that, 2 years before that, I also went to Curacao. I didn't saw him like in 16 years, and I thought like, yeah, just give him a chance. Just spend some time with him. and he's also on the age, and maybe, but yeah, here he goes, here we have him going to church, Catholic church, which is a lot of bullshit there, all about female worshipping after every prayer, because I went to bury my father, to the funeral. After every prayer, they go like Santa Maria, which means Holy Maria, and blah 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 blah. Uh, you are blessed among the women, and blah 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 blah. After every prayer, the prayer from the daily bread, give me my daily bread, after every prayer they put the Santa Maria, the Holy Maria prayer after it, was some fucking bugged out shit, I was feeling that demonic spirit in the when they were praying, Man, these people are lost, man. But he was going to church every Saturday, and one time I came there, and I saw him reading the. I came at the house, because he asked me to, he wanted me to come, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm getting old, this and this, blah blah blah." When they get old, when they basically smell death, they be like, then they want to spend time with you, So I went with my oldest to Curacao, and I found him one time. He was reading the Book of Psalms, so I tried to show him something. I'm like, "Okay, you're reading the Book of Psalms, So I wanted to show him something. Basically, what he told to me is like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. These are just stories." I'm like, "Okay, you already put yourself in an I say that, the Most High is already." I'm like, "Okay, you gotta realize, that the Most High is looking at you a certain way also, So but that shows you that these churchgoers, anti-Christians, because that's what they are. They are against the anointed. The problem with them is they do it to be seen, like the book of Matthew said, chapter 6, they do these things to be seen of men. Oh, he used to go to church. That was also what they were talking during the funeral, like, yeah, every Saturday, there was one dude that came by the house, they came by the house to give his condolence, and that was really a coonery, I was looking at the dude and I'm like, man, your name must be Koentje, but and he was talking about, yeah, every Saturday he used to go to the church, and he never missed a service, and blah blah blah. And I was looking like, yeah, whatever, man. And that day I came in late because I was doing some groceries, and I don't remember what I was doing that day. When I came in late, my sister was there with this dude, this man, and he had all this great stories. I sat a little bit by them, just out of respect, but in my mind it was like, man, fucking bugging out, I grabbed a beer, and yeah, just let him yapped on, basically. Oh, I believe I went to my auntie with my mother, I think that day, but yeah, that's not doesn't really matter. But yeah, and so I tried to show him something. He was like, "Yeah, those are only stories." And also on a Saturday when I went out preaching, he got angry with me that I went out preaching, and I left him with my son. I'm like, "Okay, that's your grandson, and my sister also had a son, but there is no problem over there. What would have been me, there was always a problem, So he got even angry, and one of the brothers, he picked me up, and when we were done, he brought me back home, and he greeted my father, and it's normal for us. It's normal, even when he came to pick me up, he also greeted my father. Then my father greeted him back. But when he came to bring me back, he greeted my father. And in these countries in Curacao, it's normal to call a man, who's older than you. You call him uncle, out of respect. Children also do that, you. In the beginning, I was like, "Oh, I had to get used to it, I didn't was not used to it, I was at the play up with my oldest son, and he was playing and this and that, and was the other kid was also playing with him, But that kid didn't spoke the Dutch language, and my son didn't speak Papiamento language, the language that they speak over there. If he would spend more time with me, I could be able to teach him, but that's another story. These females, they are in their power on their power trip and all that, But yeah, So, and I was explaining him that he didn't spoke the language and all that, and he was calling me uncle, uncle. And in the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, that's normal, But that also, so how do you say that? So he called my father uncle, and like basically good evening, uncle, And my father just looked at him, kind of angry, and just looked him in the face, looked him in the eye, and just walked away, And on that night, even he tried to basically got tried to argue with me and all that. But I'm, that's also, honor your father and your mother. Like I said, for example, like how to deal with your wife, as the weaker vessel. That's also when your parents, they're getting old. Basically, in a lot of times, they getting a little bit stupid. That is just what it is. They think they know something, but they have no clue what's going on actually. And with my father, that was 100% the case. So he tried to, here he was, tried to fight me. I'm told him like, yeah, man, I just go to the room, man. I'm not gonna argue with you, it's cool, man. And basically next day, I called my auntie and this and that, and basically that day I just left and went to my auntie, and he didn't expect me. He thought that I'm still that little boy. Meanwhile I have a gray beard and I have two children, two boys, and he thought I'm a little man. He can still boss me around and treat me like a little boy. I showed him like no, one of the brothers got me in contact with a woman that rent cars. So got myself a car, and I just started moving on myself. And the day before I left, I went back because my son wanted to spend time with his grandfather. So, and I'm glad that he did not see the things that my father was doing. And I'm not gonna tell him. Also, I want him to have that beautiful memory to him. So how do you say that? So yeah, so the day before I went back to Holland, I went to my father's house, basically. So that's what I did, But I showed him like, yeah, I can manage myself, I don't need you, you know but yeah, and that's also shows you like you have to know how to deal with him. I could have easily got into an argument with him, but I'm like, no, man, I'm a grown ass man. I'm not, my child is not gonna see me like that. He's gonna see me staying calm. Meanwhile, he tried to flip on me and this and that. I just stayed calm and just left. And that, yeah, he really on the moment I was like, I'm like, yeah, man, tonight I'll be going to my auntie. Then the car got delivered to me. He was like, oh shit, he didn't expect that. And I, yeah, basically got gone, So yeah, man, but that's, that also shows you that, you still have to have respect for them, even if they, even if they don't agree with you. And of course, let's say at your house you have your own rules, but if you are at their place, and for your children, like for example, I make sure when the children are with me, I make sure that they don't eat nothing unlawful. When they are with their mother, it's out of my hand. They know about it. Like the mother of my oldest, she want to call herself a Muslim, and I never saw her keeping the Ramadan, which is bullshit also. But you know, yeah, stupidness. But yeah, so basically, how do you say that? You just you just keep it respectful. Basically that's it. And like I said, my mother, always when she liked to have candy for the children and stuff like that, she always asked me first. Even the children know. She always tell them like if she got something like bring it to your daddy, let him check if it's okay for you to have it. So, and yeah, that's also a way that is could be possible to have it. So yeah, the reason that I'm doing this video, is not because of my father, because I already did a video about that. And I just wanted to basically give an example of how still stay respectful, even knowing that he wasn't, but I kept it cool. So yeah, how do I come to this conversation now? Well, yesterday You know, I don't know. You probably know, I think, and if you don't know, well, you have to know now. The former second in command of Great Millstone Holland, you know, got kicked out like a month ago, and we've been busy with this dude for years. You know, try to get him on the right track. Meanwhile he's being a drunkard, a liar, a backstabber. You know, all these. You know, real niggard. You know, all this shit. You know, he's a real demon, man. He showed himself to be a demon, you know, and those are based on facts, you know, and you can check on the channel of GMS Camp South Holland, you know. You can check there. We did a sit down talking about his some of his shit because you know, hey, if we have to talk about everything that he did, you know, we would be talking for days, you know. But his mother, you know, his mother, yeah, she always used to contact me, you know, because I have a store in the place where I live, you know, when they have like cheap meat, you know, from time to time they have like discounts on chicken meat and stuff like that, chicken wings and, you know, stuff like that, you know, chicken fillet, you know, all kinds of meats, you know. And from time to time, when back in the days, you know, before that, we used to teach in Amsterdam, and then she would ask me if I would buy something for her, and then she would give me the money, you know, and a lot of times I also give it to her because what she also always used to do, you know, this man, this former second in command, you know, the nickname of nowadays of him is Seven Spirits, aka Long-Winded Larry, you know. How do you say that? So his mother always used to open her house for us, you know. You gotta imagine, like we were like, I think we were like 15 brothers, you know, and basically every Saturday after teachings, you know, because that was also thing. This dude, 41 years or 42 years old, still living with his mama, you know, and leeching off of her, you know, really leeching off of her. I have no decent rhythm, you know. So he's not getting up in the morning, you know. He wanders up of night, you know, drinking wine all evening, you know, eating. You know, his mother be cooking. You know how Jake be, you know, the women they always be making food and all that, you know. Always want to make food and bring some food for you, you know. They always worried if you know that like if you don't eat enough, you know. And she always used to be like that, make all kinds of stuff, you know. May Yahweh Ratasa, you know, may Yahweh Basham Yahushai have mercy on her, you know, because she is really a beautiful person. She's really a beautiful person, man. You know, she always also reminds me of my own mother, you know, because like my mother, she always like to watch soccer, you know. Down in America, you call this yeah, soccer, which is football here. Over here, we call it gewoon football, normally football. And my mother's also like her, you know, always, you know, like even today, you know, almost every Sunday I pick my mother up so she can spend some time with the siblings, you know. I make some food, you know, she eat with me, you know. And a lot of times she asks me if I can put on some football on the television, you know. Today also, so I put it on the television for her, you know, so she can watch the soccer match going on, you know. And but yeah, no, she was basically the same way, you know, always cooking up food, you know, and always, you know, she was always making me the Suriname pepper, you know, and I was always appreciate that. So yesterday I had a conversation with her. So she asked me, asking me, you know, the last time that she asked me was when the so-called New Year, you know, of Esau, and the 1st of January. She asked me to give me the best wishes and all that. You know, I'm just sending it to her back. You know, that also shows you, uh, you know, you need to you know, that also shows you to have honor, you know, to have respect. And you know, I could be like explain her like this and that, and he probably her son, you know, long-winded Larry, also explained it to her a couple of times. But you know, you just leave him, because same with my mother, you know, my mother still be like best wishes. She knows that I don't celebrate it and all that, but yeah, nevertheless he still sends best wishes and all that, you know. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I just say it back, you know. You know better, but yeah, you know, you just leave him, you know. It's like in the Dutch they got a saying, an old dog can't learn new tricks, you know. So yeah, basically that. But yeah, concerning so she contacted me, and asked if I would bring her some meat, you know. So I saw that, but it was before I started teaching, you know. And I asked, you know, that's also a thing we seek counsel, you know. So I asked the brothers, like, okay, what should I do about it, you know? And they told me, like, yeah, basically the elder also said, like, she always been good to us. So she has, you know, as long as long-winded Larry doesn't try to contact us through her, you know, you can just talk to her, you know. So yeah, so I told her, like, I sent her a message back, and I told her, like, I'm gonna call you later, you know. So Saturday I didn't went home too late, you know. So when I was at home, I called her and I explained her the situation, what was going on, and I told her, like, yeah, probably he didn't tell you nothing. She said, like, no, she has no clue, because she asked if we were coming to Amsterdam anyway soon, you know. And then I explained to, like, like in the time from Amsterdam, a certain point, he got suspended, you know. And I explained to her, you know, in 6 months he was suspended. We had minimum contact with him, you know. He was teaching by himself, you know. There was one of the brothers was appointed to basically check how he was doing, you know. And how do you say that? So we in that time also we moved towards Utrecht, you know. That's where we teach right now. I think it's almost a year now. Could be 10 months or something. I don't know. Time flies a lot, you know. So I explained her that, you know. And after the 6 months, you know, he came back basically. And actually, after the second week, already the problems, you know, you see the traits of the old man, you know. The demon was still heavy feasting in him, you know. You saw it. So I explained her, basically, I explained her all the shit that, you know, shit that he was doing, you know, in basically in yeah, in a small thing, you know. I didn't went into much details, but I explained how he was justly dealing with brothers, you know, and all that. And because he had a high position, and I told her everything, you know. He got deranked, you know. He got deranked first, but he continued to be in the demon. Then he got suspended for 6 months, and after the suspension, he came back. And basically the second week already, he started to acting up, you know. And we were talking to him, and I explained her all these things, you know. And then eventually I told her, like, yeah. And eventually, you know, we came to the point that you know, that the elder said, like, it's enough, you know. He gotta go, because the whole camp, everybody, all the brothers, all the Akiam was suffering because of his bullshit, you know. So so I explained her that, you know. And I told her, like, yeah, he was begging us for one more chance, you know. Meanwhile, he already sent text messages to one of the brothers, calling the elder a low man, a dog whisperer, calling us knicken niggers, you know. So, you know, he was being mad disrespectful, and meanwhile he was asking for a second chance, talking about this was all he has, and this and that, you know. And on the other side, he was talking about all the time when I was by myself, I had peace in my mind, and blah blah blah. So, you know, very contradicted, you know, going against himself, you know. But that's what demons do. If you got multiple demons, they will go against each other, and that's exactly what's going on with him. So yeah, so I explained all these things, you know. And you know, and she was like, yeah, she was really amazed. And she was like, yeah. And she told me, like, yeah, he's never gonna tell me. And she said, like, yeah, I'm very sad that it went this way. And I also, you know, I gave her the regards of the brothers, and I told her, like, man, we really appreciate you. And I told her, like, yeah, I really feel for her, because she have to deal with him, you know. And I told her, like, we were talking with him, you know, explaining, like, I was, hey, 9 of the 10 times I was the last one leaving that house, you know. Leaving that house, I had to drive home for at least for an hour, fighting with my sleep, you know, to get home safe, you know. Spending time to talk with him, try to get him on the right track, you know. Try to make him get a job, and stop leeching off of his mother, stop leeching off the system, you know. But he didn't want to do it, you know, until this day. So I explained, and she said, "Yeah, I know." You know, she basically acknowledged all the things that I told, also concerning the drinking, you know. And she said, yeah, he would never tell me that, and he will never tell me that. And she said, like, I ain't gonna ask him because that's gonna make war. And I told her, like, yeah, man, you can. I told her, like, basically, it's no problem if you contact me. And she said, like, yeah, if your brothers want something concerning food or whatever, I will make it for y'all. So that's why I say, may Yahweh Basham Yahushua have mercy on her. Because like I said, she always, you gotta imagine, she dealing with a son, grown ass dude, that basically living like a child, leeching off her, 41, 42 years old, sitting up in his room, eating behind the computer, eating all the food up in the house, and be calling his mother like, oh, what did you make today, and this and that, lazy as bummelish life, just being a bum, and she had to deal with it. I've really felt sorry, it was real sad to tell her that. And she said, like, yeah, it's too bad that he yeah, that basically that we cut him off, but she understood it, but she said, like, yeah, when he was with us, it was for the better with him. And I told her, like, yeah, like, we are not standing to preach, we're not standing preaching that we are perfect and all that, but at least, you have to better yourself. And I gave him the example of the AA people. When you go to an AA meeting, the first thing you have to say is you have to say your name, and have to say that you're an alcoholic. You have to admit that you have a problem. And that's the thing with that demon, with long-winded Larry. He doesn't want to admit that he has a problem. Everything is everybody's fault. That's what demons always do. They point the fingers at everybody. So it was really sad. It was really sad. I talked with her. I really felt it in my heart. I was like, man, I was like, yeah, I really had to do with her, and so she recently also had to do with her health. You know, some things were not going right with her, but she said, like, she's now at, like, for 85% better, and she spent a lot of time in Suriname, and she only came to the doctor to see the doctor now, and then she's going back to Suriname, and I understand her. If you have a dude like that, grown ass man, living like a child in your house, leeching off of you, expect you to do everything for him, of course you don't want to be there, and she got a house there in Suriname. So yeah, so she went, yeah, so most of the time she goes over there, and I'm just, I was thinking to myself, from time to time, I'm just gonna send her a message and check how she's doing, and like I said, may Yahweh Shem Yahushua have mercy on her. Because, you gotta imagine this, try to picture this. So here you have a woman of age, I don't know exactly how old she is, but I think she might be around my mother's age, maybe a little bit younger. Let's say she's at least in the 70 plus, I think she's 70 plus something. I think, I guess, I'm not sure. But so she have to deal with a grown ass man living in a house, leeching, don't want to work, don't want to do nothing basically. And but every Saturday she opened a house for 50 men to come in the house. She was even making food for us, a lot of times, and like I said concerning, she asked me to buy some chicken, and a lot of times I just gave it to her. She's like, send me a ticket, this, that. I didn't send it, I'm like, nah, this is just for you, because you always open the door. And then the next week, she make like bami for everybody, for all the brothers to eat. She make food for everybody, or she make food for me and give it to me, and it's like, because she remember my children liking her food, because they all, both of them, they have been there, I brought them once. And how do you say that? And she made food for them, like I said, that's how Jake be, that's a fine example of a woman, that how a woman's supposed to be, want to take care of you, and here she have to deal with a leech of a son, but yeah, like I said, may Yahweh Basham Yahushua have mercy on her, that she don't, yeah, she have to deal with that, and let it be a blessing to her. Because like I said, she opened the door, her house, for us for years, let's say that I was there at least for 9 years I've been at that house, you know, at least. So, yeah, man. Like I said, that, may Yahweh bless her for that, May Yahweh Shem Yahushai Shlakia. May Yahweh Shem Yahushai bless her for that. So, yeah, man. So, basically, that. So, that is basically the reason that I wanted to do this video. So, let me see. This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, and verse 1. Children, obey your parents in Yahweh, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest live long on the earth. You see that how important that is, how the Most High be stressing this. It's very important to obey your parents. And like I said, may Yahweh Basham Yahushai have mercy on her. I'm gonna read about that later. But let me jump to this, because this is actually the case about this dude, Seven Spirits, aka Long-Winded Larry. This is the case about him. And this is how, back in the days would have been dealt with a dude like this, someone who eating up all the food, scratching himself, being walking around in the night, and during the day he's taking a nap, stinking in the bed, living in his room, filthy room, fucking bullshit, man. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21 and verse 18. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and in this case it's the voice of his mother, and when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gate of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of the city, this is our son. This our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey your voice. He is a glutton and gluttonous, and that's exactly what he is, be eating all day. And a drunkard, like I said, at least 2 bottles of wine one evening, and then he gets drunk, and then he gonna, go get violent, He's a glutton and a drunkard, and all the men of his city shall stone him with stones, that he die. So shall thou put evil away from among you, and Israel shall hear and fear. You see that? That's back in the days. That would have been his judgment. That would have been his judgment. But like I also told her, like you try to better yourself, and I told her, like, yeah, Lord willing, he's gonna better himself, but as long as he doesn't acknowledge that he is that he has problems, then it's gonna be difficult, But yeah, like I said, she acknowledged everything, She acknowledged everything, and let me see. Let me just, I want the video is already longer than I planned it, but let me just jump a little bit here. This why I keep saying, like, may the Most High have mercy on her, for the fact, the scripture said, if a man bringeth water to the prophets, he shall receive a prophet reward. Well, she did more than that. She even, now I remember also, she even made lemonade of herself, with lemons and what kind of some kind of fruit and all that. She was always almost every Saturday when we came there, she always was making something, she always had something in the kitchen. I remember her calling me in the kitchen, like, do you know this and this fruit, or this and this fish, or this and this? Come and taste it, always like that, So that's why I say, I keep saying it, Yahweh Tazah, may Yahweh Sham Yahushai have mercy on her, because, hey, she welcomed everybody, brothers from Germany also went to her house, brothers from Italy, she never made a problem of it. The house was filled with men, men of the Lord, Yahweh Tazah, we are part of that number, but she welcomed us, man. So let me see. Book of Ezekiel, chapter 18 and verse 19. Yet say ye, why does not the son bear the iniquity of the father, When the son had done that which is lawful and right, and had kept all my statutes, and had done them, he shall surely live. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. And that's basically the point that I wanted to go into, that she doesn't bear the iniquity of long-winded Larry. You know, he's the one that is being a demon. You know, like I said, she opened a house for the men of the Lord. You know, made food for us. You know, made us lemonade. All these things. You know. So yeah, you know, may Yahweh Basham Yahushai bless her for that. You know, have mercy on her for that. You know, um, the righteous, let me see, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked upon him. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he had committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, and he shall not die. All his transgressions that he had committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. In his righteousness that he had done, he shall live. Have I any pleasure all at all that the wicked should die, said Yahweh the Most High, and not that he should return from his ways and live. But when the righteous turneth away from his righteousness, and committed iniquity, and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live. All his righteousness that he had done shall not be mentioned. In his trespass that he had trespassed, and in his sin that he had sinned, in them shall he die. So if long-winded Larry decided not to return from his wicked ways, you know, hey, the Most High is gonna judge him eventually, you know. So yeah, man. So basically that, you know, and the Most High ain't playing, man. I seen it. The Most High ain't playing, man. So basically that, man. I'm gonna leave the video like that, man. So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for teaching of scriptures, among other things. And salutations to all the Akyam across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and truth. So with that, I'm gonna say Shalom.